It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 7th of November. I'm Michael Groff. The overall weather pattern around here not going to change very much for the next several days. Dry conditions, afternoon high temperatures anywhere from about 3 to 8 degrees above seasonal averages. And other than some passing high clouds, no real sensible weather to talk about until about the end of next week. And then who knows what's going to happen after that. There is model madness, forecast uncertainty, and that's putting it lightly. We'll talk about all of that and so much more. But before we do, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. And first up, David Parnell. He was at Scottsdale Christian Academy high school football Friday night? Whatever, temperatures were in the 70s. Beautiful night for high school football. We've had plenty of those. It's warm during the day, but like I said, as soon as that sun goes down, it cools off nicely. This is a sunrise. This is from Gary in Buckeye. Beautiful shot there. Love that. And then we head up to Maine. Joe, who's normally out here in Arizona, he's usually in Glendale or in the West Valley somewhere taking pictures for us. But he was in Maine enjoying the fall colors and just some cool, but what I would consider beautiful weather up there, certainly compared to what we've been experiencing. And then, what's a sunrise without a sunset? And this is from a different Joe, and this is a sunset from the valley earlier this week. Beautiful. And that's it. That's all we got for you on Photo Friday. groffshow@gmail.com is our email address if you have any submissions you'd like to make, photos, videos, whatever. groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, let's get into it here. The Almanac from yesterday, 87 degrees, the afternoon high after a morning low of 61. 81 and 57 are now the averages for this time of year. And as we take a look outside right now, just before 7 a.m., we are mostly clear with a temperature sitting at 61 degrees at Sky Harbor International Airport. The dew point's at 39, relative humidity 45%. Wind from the east at 5, the barometer is rising. All right, satellite here across the southwest. We don't have our normal view, so we had to kind of use this one here, but it doesn't really matter, right? Any clouds are far to the north of us. Severe clear across Arizona, so nothing to really worry about here at the moment. And the main storm track will remain to the north for a while. The watch warning map is fairly quiet across the country. Some dense fog for parts of the Gulf Coast and the southeast U.S. Some wind over parts of Montana. And over western South Dakota, the Black Hills could see some gusty winds. A high wind watch is issued there. But generally speaking, conditions are quiet at the moment. Convective outlook for today. The standard slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5 around Nashville, Clarksville, Tennessee, up toward Bowling Green, Kentucky. And the marginal risk for some of the adjacent states there. We could see some gusty winds to around 60 miles an hour with the strongest storms and some hail, especially across central Tennessee and Kentucky this afternoon and tonight. Tropics in the Atlantic Basin, forget it. It's dead out here. I mean, nothing to talk about for now and probably for the next 7 days and maybe for the rest of the season. Not quite ready to put the season to bed just yet, but we're getting pretty close. East Pacific is kind of the same story. Not much happening out here, but you never know. There can always be a curveball thrown at you at some point. Weather is weird like that. Here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, basically nothing, but just at the very end of this period. Next Friday morning, might start to see some precipitation showing up just to the north and west of us over southern Nevada, southeast California, and points to the north and west from there as this weather pattern is going to change. The question is Arizona going to be involved in that change? And if so, how much? Boy, there's a lot of questions. Let's try to find those answers right now as we get to the models, have a look at things. This is the GFS. It is the 06Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars. That's about 18,000 feet up. Huge vortex out there over far eastern Canada. And we've got a trough coming on down. And eventually an Arctic front is going to be dropping south. Very big difference in air masses coming down for the eastern half of the country this weekend and early next week. But out here in the west, high pressure's in control. The main storm track is north of us. The upper heights are above average, kind of a flat ridge. A quasi-zonal flow has been in place around here. And so what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today in Phoenix, how about sunny? How about highs in the mid-80s? And that's above average, but not record-breaking. For tonight, the sky is clear, the air is dry. Overnight lows will generally, at least here in Phoenix, be in the mid-50s to low 60s or so. And then for tomorrow, it's the same forecast as today. Here in the deserts, generally mid-80s. If you're up north, 60s for places like Flagstaff. And again, don't be too concerned, but there will be some patchy smoke up there around the Flagstaff area. They're doing some prescribed burns today, tomorrow. So that will continue. So, if you see that, it's nothing to get too excited about, but just know that that's there. 60s for the high country, 70s down toward the rim and the Verde Valley and some of the high desert areas in the 80s across the southern deserts in the southeastern part of the state. We go to Sunday, it's the same forecast, although we will tack on a couple of degrees to afternoon high temperatures, generally in the mid to upper 80s in Phoenix, maybe near 90 for the warmest desert spots, and continued with 60s and 70s up north. Pretty much a copy-paste for Monday. Temperatures will fluctuate by a degree or so, but other than that, no real big changes. Here comes Veterans Day, Tuesday. Some high clouds will come through. We'll call it partly sunny here in Phoenix. These are high clouds, not going to be of much consequence, but that will kind of be the only sensible weather we have for the rest of next week proper. This is Wednesday, partly cloudy. Statewide high temperatures will generally, again, be in the 80s here in the deserts, near 90 for the warmest desert spots, mostly in the 60s and 70s up north, and same thing on Thursday with some clouds around. We have seen some indications, some forecasts have been starting to call for a slight chance of precipitation across northwest Arizona, northern Arizona late next week. Might hold off until the very end of the week or that following weekend. Let's take you out to a week from today. This is Friday the 14th. The GFS has a big ridge out here across the west, and that trough that we've been talking about seemingly forever, it is just stuck off the west coast of the United States. It is not coming our way, at least not in the short term or not in this period, because high pressure is very strong. And if this is right, high temperatures would be well above average. We'd be seeing highs anywhere from the mid 80s to near 90 over the lower deserts, 60s and 70s up north, continued above average temperatures. This is Saturday the 15th, and it's the same story according to the GFS. And Sunday the 16th, same story, but here comes the trough. It is going to start to push the ridge to the east. We'll see some clouds maybe, but temperatures will back off a little bit, but still above average temperatures and dry conditions to continue if this is correct. But this is the European. This is the end of the period here. This is, again, Sunday the 16th, and the trough is making some headway toward us, but it is not here yet. European AI, though, it's got the trough coming on in to the southwest, but this is actually on Saturday. This, what I'm showing you here off the European AI, it's still banking on the fact that we'll see some troughing coming into the southwest with a chance of rain and higher elevation snow. And if you think that's crazy, that's model madness, it's partly, but look at the ensembles here. This is the rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 21st of the month. All over the place. I mean, you got some members that show nothing. You got others that are, 2 and 3 inches. The control member on this, by the way, is up at 2.5 inches. And the ensemble means about 1/2 inch. So, again, huge uncertainty exists in the medium range and beyond here. And so too for the European ensemble, it's the same thing. I mean, you've got huge model spread here. You got anywhere from 0 up to, 3 inches of rain. European AI, which I will remind you has been the more reliable model for the last few months. It is also it's showing the greatest amount of precipitation with the ensemble mean creeping up toward 1 inch. And you've got individual members that range from 0 to 4 inches. And we've seen this on the Euro AI for a while. Huge model spread. And unfortunately, huge model spread generally means uncertainty. It means that if you're asking me if it's going to rain, I can't tell you. The other guys on YouTube, these guys that claim they have all the answers or that, show these graphics that mean nothing. And, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they don't even use their real names. Well, these guys, they don't know either. And your weather app doesn't know. Nobody knows. This is a huge question mark right now. Now, we're going to get clarity as we get closer. Is this going to be kind of a big bust? Is this going to be something? Is this going to be kind of somewhere in between? We don't know. If we're taking this based on the Euro AI and its more predictable pattern here the last few months, hey, we could be in for some precipitation here, and certainly the national blend of models is leaning that way. Speaking of temperatures off the NBM, the trend is obviously down, but not in the short term. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures are going to remain above average. But out toward next weekend and that following week, temps will trend down closer to seasonal averages, maybe below that, depending on how things play out. All right, speaking of, this is the CPC outlook, the 8 to 14 day period. And again, we're talking about temperatures skewed toward near average for most of Arizona, maybe below average for portions of the state, the western portion of Arizona. Precipitation probabilities are skewed toward above average precipitation during that same time period. So again, the CPC guys and at least a fair number of our models seem to still think that we are in for a changeover toward cooler and unsettled weather out by next weekend and that following week. We hope so. That's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, you want to support the channel, well, by all means, hey, feel free to do that. Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make that contribution to us that way, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo, that's also linked up down in the description below. So again, feel free to use that. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, and probably Kylie related, Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description below, so feel free to check all of that out. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. Check that out too. It's linked up in the description below. Lots of music, lots of fun over there. And check out the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. Check it out because today I am once again over there hosting the TCF Live. I got to really move it along here because I got to get prepared for that show here in just a little bit. But from starting at 10 a.m. East, 7 a.m. Pacific, join me over there for the Courtroom Files Live. It's a Friday. It'll be a fun, super Friday. Why not? We'll have a great time over there. So join me again over on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. And then Dan, hopefully, we'll be back on Monday. If not, well, I'm still here. I'm ready to go. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But that's the plan. The plan is for Dan to return and take over once more. All right. That, my friends, is it. Thank you so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. We could not do this without you. So please, I want you to be safe. Stay cool, stay hydrated out there. Have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.